don't really know what I'm doing. There's a system. So what I need to do is I need to show a video, I need to call my sponsor and make them happy. So can I just practice on you? Okay, just let me go over, let me show you the video, let me call my sponsor, and we'll be done, and I'll be out of the house. There's a much better chance that your family or a close friend will say, sure. Okay, that way I'll help you out, but I ain't gonna buy nothing. You don't gotta buy nothing. Just let me do it to get my practice and to make my sponsor happy. Fair enough? Okay, that's the best approach with them. Okay, now your warm market, think of the 20 people that you're most likely at the top of your list and go after them first. Use the memory jogger to add to your list daily. That came in your blueprint. Eric Worre also has a memory jogger, which is really good too, which you can download for free from his website, networkmarketingpro.com. Okay, here's a couple of interesting sayings. Poor people look for work, rich people look for networks. Okay, want me to turn the heat up? Okay, I should go. Network marketing can't be learned, it has to be experienced through activity, and that is the truth. Okay, we can learn the system, we can memorize it, but when we actually get out there and start doing it, that's when we really learn what network marketing is about. Do we need a 5-minute break or should we just move on? All right, we'll move on. Okay, now, people ask this question. When I'm approaching a prospect, should I lead with a product or should I lead with a business? Neither. Lead with your story. Okay? Lead with your story. And here's why. Okay, here's what your story consists of, and my story. It consists of our background. In this part here, this is actually the most important part of your story. What you didn't like about it, we've got to be vulnerable. When we are vulnerable with a prospect, we will build trust and we will build a rapport with them. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Okay, then we give the solution, which of course is becoming an LV distributor. Okay, then we give a bright outlook on the future. Okay, so the vulnerability goes like this. Our challenges and our pain connect us to other people. Okay? When we reveal some hardships, that builds trust and rapport. Right. So, and again, we're not going to lie, we're not going to exaggerate. We're going to be completely truthful and completely sincere. So here's mine. Okay? I'm a Christmas tree farmer. I inherited the business from Dad in 1997. And when I inherited from Dad, the Christmas tree farm was at its peak. We had lots of trees, lots of good quality trees. When Dad handed it to me, we already had a clientele, so I didn't have to go after anybody. All I had to do was call up the same people and say, do you want last year's order? They said yes, and I sold lots of Christmas trees in year 1. I sold lots of Christmas trees on year 2. I sold lots of Christmas trees on year 3. Okay, but there's an old concept that says we reap what we sow. Okay, so at that point, I was reaping what my dad had sown, because Dad was very hardworking and dedicated. Okay, but in the meantime, I was not planting trees like I should be, and I was making other decisions that were very bad decisions. So eventually, that caught up, and my income was actually reduced to the point where I was drawing less than $5,000 a year from the tree farm. And I wasn't cheating on my taxes or hiding anything or doing anything under the table. Literally, my income for several years in a row on the tree farm was less than $5,000. So I was still working a full work week, but I didn't dare tell anybody, including Dad. Mm-hmm. I was so humiliated. I felt like the biggest loser on the planet, and I was putting up a front with everybody. People would say to me, so how's the tree farm going? Great! Great! That's what I was telling everybody, and I was lying out of my teeth because I was so self-conscious that I was such a failure. And even though things are on the upswing now, they just started being on the upswing about 2 years ago because the Christmas tree cycle lasts about 8 to 10 years. Okay? What you do now, you reap 8 to 10 years in the future. Wow. It's on the upswing now, okay? But when I first looked at network marketing and especially LifeVantage, I finally saw that I was not going to have to do that for the rest of my life. But even more so, I finally had another chance to succeed.
That's awesome.
Okay, you got it?
Yes.
Now the future's looking better because during the time when I was only making $5,000 a year, I had no hope for my family or my kids' future or my wife's future or retirement. But now for the first time I have some real hope now that I'm in LifeVantage.
That's fantastic. You understand.
Now there's a rapport between you and I. Okay? I was honest with you and I was vulnerable. Now, the same thing, now let's take the opposite. Well, you know, I inherited this business from my dad and I doubled it. Yep, I've been doing so great. Listen, we can't relate to somebody like that. You know, that's always been my issue with pastors. Like if they talk about their problems, that was always 30 years ago. Well, you know, I had problems in my marriage 30 years ago, and I'm sitting there feeling like the biggest loser in the world. So they had problems 30 years ago, but I'm having problems now. So clearly he overcame it because he's spiritual enough. But I'm not overcoming it, so I'm not spiritual enough. So I'm vulnerable from the pulpit. You know what? My wife and I got into a fight last week. No, she doesn't like that. She'll say something to me about that later. But guys, when we're vulnerable, we tell people that we fail, they trust us.
Yeah.
But if everything's great all the time, my business is perfect, my marriage is perfect, my life is perfect, I'm never angry, I'm never depressed, I'm never frustrated, especially in LifeVantage, most of the people out there feel like the biggest losers, don't they? You know? So we've got to be vulnerable. Our challenges and our pain, they connect us to others. Okay? We've got to reveal some of our hardships, and that's going to build trust. But guys, when we're with our prospects, we got to go first. Okay? Because then, if they decide to open up, we got to relax from the presentation and let them. Okay? So sometimes with me, I'm zero focused, and I know that the next step is showing the video and getting things going. But if a prospect suddenly says, yeah, man, I totally got you, and they start to open up, I've got to just relax, and I'm going to talk through them. You know, we may be an hour or 2 hours there as they talk to me about their problems, and that's okay. Amen? Because now we have a relationship, or at least a better relationship than we did before. They've opened up to me because I opened up to them. And that's far more important than moving forward with the presentation.
And true rapport is cross-race, cross-cultural, cross-language.
Amen. Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
You've heard about love being the universal language.
Right.
You've got to find a way, whether it's body language or whatever, rapport is everything. It's everything.
Amen. Amen. So let's tackle some of the objections and the questions that people have. Okay, so there's really two main objections to network marketing, and you're going to get these. I promise you. You will get these multiple times. Okay? The first thing that people do is they have limiting beliefs about themselves. So you'll show somebody the video, and they're going to look at you and say, look, I'm not a salesperson, okay? I mean, you're really outgoing, and you're doing a good job at this. You were meant for something like this, but not me. I'm not a salesperson, I'm not outgoing. They have a limiting belief about themselves. Okay? And here's the next one, is they have a limiting belief about network marketing. Oh, it's a pyramid, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a scam. These things never work. They have a limiting belief about network marketing. Okay? Here's how we've got to view this. Their responses are gifts and they're not a curse. Because most distributors will freeze up at this point and go, oh snap, this is not going well. Yeah. This person just told me that I'm trying to get them into a Ponzi scheme, even though it's not a Ponzi scheme. Okay? They're trying to, did I lead them into something illegal? Guys, this is what allows us to hone our skills and build a rapport. Believe it or not, when they say stuff like that, we can build a rapport with them as opposed to a wall. They've put up a wall, okay? I'm not a salesperson, and I'm not outgoing. That's one wall. Or, you're trying to get me in some pyramid or Ponzi scheme, and no way. So they're putting up a wall, and here's how we're going to tear it down, okay? We relate. We never argue. We never argue with a prospect, okay? I don't care how hostile they are. They may totally not know anything of what they're talking about. Their facts are not straight. We don't respond with facts. We respond with relation. Someone says, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not very outgoing. Say, you know what? I had certain thoughts about that too. And at first, I didn't think I could sell this. I've never sold a product before. I've never even tried that. But you want to know what? After I got some training and I practiced on a few people who I knew wouldn't judge me or give me a hard time, I asked them to practice, and I practiced a little bit. I began to feel a little bit more comfortable. The more I did it, the more comfortable I felt. And I discovered that I could do more than what I originally thought I could do. And you want to know what? I believe that you could too. I believe that you could do more than what you think you can. Right? well, it's a pyramid scheme, it's a Ponzi scheme. Say, yeah, I know, man, that's exactly what I thought. The first time I was introduced to network marketing, I thought exactly the same thing as you. I thought this is a total scam. But you know, I got really thinking about it, and especially LifeVantage. LifeVantage is a publicly traded company, which means on the NASDAQ, they are held to strict accountability by the NASDAQ and by the government.
That's good.
If this really was a scam, I'm going to tell you what, the government would step in and knock these guys right off of their perch if it were a scam.
Yeah.
And no, and think about this now. Everything is structured like a pyramid. The people at Walmart, there's the owners, there's the board of directors, there's upper management, middle management, and then the employees. It's a pyramid. The employees are all working to make the board and the CEO all the money. But the great thing about network marketing is that you have the ability to build a network under you so that you can be built up. Just imagine at Walmart that instead of paying you $9 an hour, if they said, hey look, we're only going to pay you $2 an hour, but if you can recruit other employees to come and work, we're going to give you a commission of everything that they do. Man, you can make some serious money at Walmart.
Yep.
That's what network marketing allows you to do. It allows you to advance up through the ranks, and it doesn't have anything to do with seniority. It doesn't have anything to do with who you know. You have the chance to climb up the ladder without any of that nonsense. That's what network marketing does. Now that's a much better response than going, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. I'm sick of people saying that. The facts are this. Right?
Doesn't work.
But now I've built a rapport, because I've said, you know, I thought the same thing when I first started. That's exactly what it does appear like. But when I did the research, okay, that's our story. And then we're going to ask this follow-up question. Okay? So a person comes and says, I can't do this, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not outgoing. You respond in a similar way that I did, say, look, if I can get you the training and I can expose you to the skills and the support of our upline partners, do you think you might be willing to give this a shot? Right? Or, if I can show you that this is a completely legitimate way to make money and that people are doing it, people who work are doing this, they're making money and they're reaching their financial goals, would you be willing to reconsider? Right?
Sure.
Okay? That's what we're going to ask them. Now we're going to close. Okay, it's the end of your meeting. It's the end of the video. Okay? We're going to ask these 6 questions in this order. Okay? What did you like best about what you just saw? Okay, so they went to your meeting, they've seen the video. What did you like best about what you just saw? Most likely they're going to say, I really like the product, or I really like the opportunity. Okay? And then we're going to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm not interested at all, 10 being sign me up as a distributor right now, where would you say that you are at? Now the vast majority of people will give you a 4, a 5, or a 6, and that's okay. That's okay. Alright? Okay, then we're going to ask this 3rd question. Okay, we're going to look and say, alright, off the record. Off the record. If you were to get into this right now as a distributor, how much money do you need to make on a monthly basis to make this worth your while? Give me a figure. Give me a number. Now, make people give you a reasonable number. If they say $50,000 a month, look at them and say, do you make $50,000 a year at your job? So, if you're not making $50,000 a year in your job, you really expect to make $50,000 a month for this to be worth your time? Come on. Give me a realistic number. So what? 300 a month, 500 a month, give me a number. What's it worth to you? Okay, so let's say they say, I need 1,000 a month. Fantastic. We're going to go to the next question. Okay, realistically, how many hours a week are you willing to commit to achieve that $1,000 a month? Just give me a number. How many hours per week? 5, 10, 15, 20, give me a number. And let them tell you. Next, how many months are you willing to commit those hours? So are you willing to work that 6 hours a week for 2 months, 6 months, all 12 months? What are you willing to do? Okay? Then, here's the ultimate question. If I were to help you be trained and to get your first meeting set up so that you can get at least your investment back as quickly as possible, Would you be ready to get started right now? Okay? Now, if they say yes, sign them up. If they say no or maybe, we're going to go to the three-way call. Okay, we have to do the three-way call, guys. We don't get around this. That's when you're going to call me, you're going to call Kurt, you can call Julie, you can call Mark Harris, all right, which you've set up ahead of time. You've already set up ahead of time, hey, Kurt, I've got a meeting tomorrow at noon. Are you available to do a three-way call? I'll start showing the video probably around noon. The video will get done 12:30, 12:45. All right, will you be available for me to call you? You set that up ahead of time. And that's if they say no or maybe, then we're going to call. Okay? Hey, Kurt, I've got Jake here. Jake just watched the video. He says he needs like at least $500 a month to make this worth his while. He works down at Walmart. Jake, this is Kurt Heisey. He achieved Pro 4. You're going to edify the leader. He achieved Pro 4 in record time, 2 months flat. He's got a successful machine business down in Mansfield, Pennsylvania. He's a pastor. He's a great businessman. Here you go. Okay? Now, the easiest thing to do is to put it on speaker if you're in a quiet place, but if you're in a public place like a restaurant, you just thrust the phone right in their face. I'm serious. Okay? Don't ask for permission to make the call. Don't tell the prospect what you're doing. If they say no or maybe to question number 6, you're going to go, hold on. Okay? Kurt, this is Scott. I've got John here with me. Blah, 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 blah. John, this is Kurt. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to put you on speaker. All right? And then Kurt will take it from there, or whoever you call. All right? We have to do the three-way call. All right, now there are 3 types of prospects and distributors. I should have added distributors. There are pessimists, realists, and visionaries. All right, let's go over those. Here's the pessimist. They set the bar, the high bar, they jump over backwards. They set the bar on the ground. They expect things to go badly, and they're proud when they're right. They're the people who say, I told you so, right?
Yep.
I told you. I told you it wasn't going to work. I told you this was never going to happen. I told you that wasn't realistic. Okay? And they prophesied. One guy I went to years ago, a couple years back, no, it's going to be an uphill battle. No one's going to want to sign up. And we're going to have a really hard time getting customers or even distributors. It's just not going to work. And I said, thank you, but no, thank you. We're done. Okay? You don't want a pessimist on your team.
No.
All right?
Poisonous.
Okay.
Poisonous.
Okay? Now, on the scale. Remember the scale we had earlier? Crisis, survival, success, significance. Where do you think the pessimists live? Exactly. At best. At best, survival. At best.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Now, the realists. The vast majority of the people on the planet are this. Okay? The vast majority are realists. Here's what the realist says. Image is king to the realist. Not image in necessarily how I look. Image is they're afraid to set the bar too high and not achieve it. Why? Because if they don't achieve it, they're going to beat themselves up and judge themselves, and they're afraid that other people's going to judge them. Got it? I don't want to, listen, I ain't going to go out and tell nobody I'm going to be pro 3 in a month. I ain't going to say that. I'll tell them I'll be a pro 2. I'm going to set a reasonable goal, okay? My goals need to be reasonable. They need to be small. They need to be achievable. Okay, there's a lot of people that say this too. Make sure your goals are small and reasonable, something that you can achieve to build your confidence, okay? So they're very reasonable people, their goals are small, they set the bar at the standard height, they're not going to set it above that, or if they'll only set it above it if they succeed the first time, then they'll set it a little bit higher, jump over it, set it a little bit higher. That's what reasonable, realistic people do, okay? Scale, crisis, survival, success, significance. Where do you think these people live? Remember, the vast majority of the people on the planet are this. Where do you think these people live?
Pretty much right around survival.
Pretty much around survival. That is absolutely true. Otherwise, there'd be a lot more successful people in the world.
If they look successful, look at their credit card debt.
Okay, the last one here is the visionary. The visionary is an extremely unreasonable person. They have set ridiculously high goals. They are incredibly unrealistic. My old karate instructor in college, my goodness, when he came in on the scene, the whole college was going to practice Taekwondo. Everybody was going to practice. Now, did he achieve that? Did everybody in the campus come practice? No, but he filled the room. Okay, we'll get to this in just a minute. They're very unreasonable. They act on inspiration and not data. Do you see the difference?
Yep.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you on that scale. Where do you think visionaries tend to live? Crisis, survival, success, significance.
Between success and significance.
Between success and significance. Think of all the visionaries that you know. Jesus Christ, the Apostle Paul. These guys are, even secular people. Bill Gates, okay, Steve Jobs. These guys were visionaries. They weren't reasonable people. They certainly weren't pessimistic people. Very few reasonable people get to the point of significance, which is what we're going for.
Right.
Okay? These people were all visionaries. That's where they were. Here's our visual. Okay? This is the standard. So these 3 bars you see at the bottom is like standard or average. Okay, this first over here is the pessimist. Where do they set the bar? On the ground. Okay? Nothing's going to work. Nothing ever works out. Blah, blah. Prophesying doom and gloom and death and despair and sickness. Don't do that. You'll fall and you'll poke your eye out. This is what pessimists say all the time. They constantly prophesy death. Constantly. Okay, and death, and then when they're right, they go, I told you! I told you that he was going to fall down and get hurt if you let him play over by the creek. I told you! Okay? The realist sets the bar at a wonderfully reasonable place. A nice achievable goal, wonderfully reasonable. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't, but they're very reasonable people. But the darn visionary man, he or she, they set the bar at some ridiculously high line. Oh, we're going to get 200 people to the next meeting. And most likely, they do not meet their goal, okay? But once again, here's the standard, okay? But they tend to go about there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that not far above these two? This one is here, this one is only here, but they set the bar up here, but they only met this one down here. Isn't that still way better than these two?
Oh.
Okay? All right, here's our outlook. The pessimist says no to this opportunity or anything else. Then they explain why it won't work and why it won't succeed. Then they go out and they tell everybody. Well, Gertrude, she got into one of them multi-level marketing pyramid things. She ain't going to make no money at that. Nobody makes any money at that stuff. Nobody ever succeeds at that stuff. She's going to end up being disappointed in a few weeks, and I'm going to be right. That's the pessimist. Okay? The realist tries to figure it all out first. Well, I got to do my research. I got to figure out if I can do this. I got to think about it. And then if they do get to this place of satisfaction where they feel like they figured it out and they've done everything, then they say yes. Then they tell the world. The visionary, by inspiration, sees it. They don't understand the details, but they see it. They go, yes. Okay. Then they go out and they tell the world, man, I am now a LifeVantage distributor, and I'm going Pro 3 as quickly as possible. And I'm going to be a Pro. I'm going to be a Pro 6. I'm going to Pro 7 to get a Jeep, right? Yeah. Like they hand you the keys. You know what? Within a year, I'm going to have that Jeep. I'm going to be pulling into my driveway with the Jeep, with my LifeVantage, brand new LifeVantage Jeep. I'm going to be pulling into my driveway, and I'm going to be like, ha! Look at my Jeep. Okay? Then they figure it out. Okay? Now, Jesus was the exception to that. He had it all figured out ahead of time, but he was God. Okay? So, guys, let's be a Pro 3 factory. That's what we need to be. Now, look, if you've got some altruistic things, look, Scott, this is all great, but I'm not looking to advance in ranks. I'm not looking to do that. I just really want to help people. Okay, now listen. Okay? Influence comes through networks and not individuals, guys. So if our true goal is to help people, we want to get Pro Tandem into the hands of many people. Listen, are you going to do this most as an individual, or how about if you have a team of people that you're doing this with? A team of people that you have trained to think like you and to do it like you're doing it, to have the same goals and intentions. Now, you can't force that on anybody, of course, but you've at least taught that. That's what you've taught from your pulpit, if you will, is the inspiration to help other people. So look, I can go out and I can work my tail off as one man, and I can try to get Pro Tandem in the hands of every single human being I know, or I can build a network. I can say, you know what, Hank, come on, be a distributor, man. There's lots of stuff we can do. Isaac, Mary, Barry, Peggy, Gertrude, Sarah. Let's do this as a team, guys. Networks increases our influence. That's the bottom line. Listen, Jesus didn't go it alone, and he was God in the flesh. He didn't go it alone. He signed up 12 distributors. No, he did. Let's be honest. He signed up 12 distributors. Yeah. He said, and the funny thing is he went to, I got to get this right, he went to Philip, and then Philip went and signed up Nathaniel. Hey, Nathaniel, the Messiah is here. The Messiah is here. Come on, let's see what can come out of Nazareth. Well, come see. All right? He built up a network of 12 distributors, and then he taught his 12, and then he taught them to teach others, and then he commanded them to go into all the world and make disciples, and make distributors. And then they did, and there are over 3 billion Christians in the world. He didn't go it alone, guys. And so you don't have to be so concerned about the money, but guys, we need to build this network. We need to build this network up, okay, not just for our financial freedom, but that will widen our influence. Now we've got a team of people, of like-minded people, okay, that are also going out and sharing per tandem, because 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, 100 people are going to spread this way quicker than the 24-hour actions of one really energetic guy or woman. Amen? We have to build a network just like Jesus and Paul built a network. He had all those churches underneath him and all those disciples. That's the way people have done it the most effectively since the dawn of time. We build networks. That's what we do. Okay? Jesus said, on this rock I will build my church. And that's what he did. Okay? So we need to build. Okay, so whether we need money, we want to help other people's networks are just way more powerful and effective. And so let's make our team this Pro 3 factory. All right? We have the plan, we know how. So are you in? I'm asking. This is the response part of the, of the presentation. Are you in? Okay. All right. So here's what we need to do right now, all of us. You, me. Okay. If you have not yet upgraded to platinum, you need to. Okay. If you're all in, if you answered, you shook your head yes, and you said yes, you need to upgrade to platinum. Okay. Now your personal volume needs to be at least 200 a month. Now again, you can offset that with customers. You can. Okay. However, in order for me to be an active user of most of the products, my personal volume is about $240 a month because I've got the Pro Tandem, I've got all the physique products, I've got the Axio, and that's not even enough to get me my next shipment of the skin products. So when I get close to running out of the skin products, I'll have to move some stuff around and make sure that gets included in my shipment. But I need to be using all of the products. I need to have a testimony, have an active lifestyle where I'm using the products. So I drank my Axio in front of everybody here right before Taekwondo practice. There was my bottle. I took it in here. I shook it up. And I just started to swing my Axio. Okay. We got so the personal volume being at 200 a month also opens up the door to every way that you can make money in this company. Okay. Platinum is the first open of the door, and then the personal volume at 200 a month. Make sure that the company pays you the maximum amount it will pay you. If you fall below that, they don't pay you as much. Or if you sign up as less than the platinum, they don't pay you as much. And that's just the bottom line. Okay? Okay? If you've not yet made your list, written list with names and phone numbers, let's do it. Let's get on it. Let's make our list. Here's the name, here's the phone number. We got to have a nice written list. Okay? Let's set up a group meeting for you. Okay? Let's set a date for a group meeting. Let's invite people by phone, invite people by text, in person. Let's set up your group meeting. And let's start inviting people. And then invite your prospects to one-on-one meetings. I actually like these a little bit better. Some people like these better. I actually like one-on-one meetings better. I like to call people up or text them and say, hey, Tuesday at 10 o'clock at the coffee shop. Can you be there? There's something I need to run by you. Okay? And I like bringing my laptop and showing people the video. I like asking them the 6 questions, doing the 3-way call with Kurt or Mark or Julie, and then following up with them later. That's just my personal preference. Meetings are good too. Okay? But I like the one-on-ones because there's a better guarantee the person's going to show up. You invite 15 people to a meeting, 5 show up. All right? But that's fine too. It's all fine. But this is what we need to be doing right now. Okay? All right? And that's it. That's what we have. Yes, please. Thank you.